All right, so we are back once again with another video. By the way, if you haven't checked out my Shane McMahon, what happened to Shane McMahon, talking about his release, my overall thoughts on the situation, if you haven't checked that video out, go check it out. Like, really, it's a pretty good video, so I would highly recommend you go check it out. Also, go check out my WrestleMania 38 match card predictions. I've never done that before, so put a lot of work into that as well. I would highly recommend you check that out as well. Also, subscribe and like to the channel. But let's not waste any time. Let's get to it. So I wanted to talk about Mr. Tony Khan, the AEW chairman, the head of the AEW table, I should say. Tony Khan put out a tweet, man. He put out a tweet on Twitter. Y'all know how Tony Khan likes to tweet. But this time, it was about AEW because this man made an announcement that this week on AEW Dynamite, up and coming, Isaiah Cassidy was going to be in the match, and he was going to be facing a mystery opponent. And this was going to be like a part of the entry into the ladder match, Face of the Revolution match that AEW be doing at AEW Revolution. But Tony Khan has announced that someone will in fact be making their official AEW debut on Wednesday night. And Tony Khan was hyping this up that it can be anyone. So that's what today's video is going to be about. And I believe he also said 2, I believe it is. So correct me if I'm wrong. I believe he said 2, but if he said 1, then either way, 1, 2, 3, 8, it doesn't matter. Someone is making their AEW debut. I don't know who. Well, that's again what this video is about. Speculating on who it can be. And it can be anyone. If you want my honest opinion, who do I honestly really think is going to show up on AEW? Who is going to make their AEW debut? Who was going to shake hands with Mr. Tony Khan? Who was going to be all elite with All Elite Wrestling? Of course, it's going to be the highly anticipated debut of Ryback. I mean, come on, guys. It's, Ryback is going to make his AEW debut, and he's going to dominate AEW. And if there's another person, it's going to be Nia freaking Jax. She's going to dominate the women's division, baby. Nah, man, but all jokes aside, man, if I'm being quite honest with you, I can honestly see Keith Lee being the AEW debut. It's actually been rumored that Keith Lee is actually not just only have been in talks with AEW, but is also going to be already signed with AEW. So Keith Lee going to AEW, be pretty good for him. A lot of big matches for him. Obviously, man, Keith Lee, has the tools of being that, big star that we know he can be. So, yeah, I think him and AEW, I can see him doing that. And if there is a second person, who would that second person be? Man, Karrion Kross maybe? Do you bring Keith Lee and Karrion Kross in around the same time? Who knows? But if we're talking about like one big debut, I'd probably go with Keith Lee if I'm being quite honest with you. So that's who I'm predicting, man. Keith Lee. I think it's gonna be Keith Lee who's gonna be the signing. So yeah. But who knows? Maybe it's not Keith Lee. Maybe it's not Karrion Kross. Maybe it is someone from, because remember, Tony Khan, he mentioned in a tweet, man. He just didn't mention no debut new signing. He mentioned the Forbidden Door. So maybe, who knows who he can bring in. Because remember, man, AEW, the Forbidden Door, bringing in all these guys. I know AEW, Brandy mentioned in the promo, she told Ethan Page, like, hey, we brought you here really to get to Josh Alexander. So do you bring in Josh Alexander? Does he show up? Do you bring in, if we're talking other promotions like New Japan, do you bring in Kazuchika Okada? Do you bring in Will Ospreay? Do you bring in Tanahashi? Who do you bring in? Some of the Bullet Club guys. I know they're with Impact, so do you maybe bring in Jay Whiteley? Who do you bring in? That's kind of crazy with AEW with these debuts, especially with stuff like this, because last year Revolution, like, we kind of didn't really have any idea on who was going to show up, and we all saw who showed up. Captain Charisma, Instant Classic, Christian Cage. So honestly, bro, who debuts on AEW's ball game, it could be anyone's ball game, really. Bray Wyatt, like, who effing knows? I'm not saying, like, well, again, me personally, it's probably going to be Keith Lee, but who knows? It really can be anybody, and that's what's crazy about this whole Forbidden Door, these signings to AEW. You don't really know who or when they're going to show up. So that's the video, guys. No, it's kind of short, but this is all really just speculation and all just like thinking off the top of the head on who could show up in AEW. Maybe Jeff Hardy. Well, I highly doubt Jeff Hardy. I know a lot of people say him, but I think Hardy's contract, I believe, and someone can correct me if I'm wrong here in the comments, but I believe that his contract, no compete clause, is expiring in March, so he won't, but when is Revolution? In March? I don't know. But anyway, so who knows? But as far as Jeff showing up on Wednesday, I don't know. So yeah. But tell me in the comments section, who do you think is going to show up on AEW? Who's going to be the newest AEW signing, the newest AEW debut? Tell me in the comment section below. This has been the Kid DC Wrestling, and so on. Yeah.